Everyone has had that friend that can never take responsibility for their actions and would likely blame everything that they did wrong on you or others. Psychological projection is a defense mechanism in which someone will subconsciously accuse others of things that they have done or are themselves. Dr. Frankenstein was a scientist with a huge passion for discovering and understanding the creation of life, but he was warned multiple times not to tamper with this forbidden knowledge, but he did it anyway. He was told not to do it, did it, and then he wouldn't take responsibility for it and went as far as blaming fate. Like, he didn't think that it was really his fault. So his actions led to the murder of his lover, his best friend, and his family. So the fact is, Frankenstein is the villain in his story. So first, he created a being when he was told not to, and it was especially wrong during that time period. He abandoned his creation, which was practically his child, and then he blames everything that he did on others or won't take responsibility and own up to it. He is to blame for the death of his loved ones, and he watched them get killed off one by one and did nothing to stop it. During that time period, religiously, it was really wrong to play God, and creating a being the way that he did was considered pretending to be God and doing things that he wasn't supposed to. So he knew it was wrong on a religious standard and still did it anyway. Then he watched his loved ones get killed off one by one, and someone who was important to him in his life even was accused for one of the crimes that he knew she didn't commit, but let her get killed off for it anyway. Then he abandoned his creation, like I said, which was practically his child. He didn't even name it. It's literally called the monster throughout the entire story, and by the time he had finally owned up to what he did, it was too late, and it was the end of the story. At the end of the day, the monster killed all those people, right? Well, if you consider Richard Ramirez, who was a serial killer who got charged for crimes from murder to Grand Theft Auto, his childhood might be what could actually be blamed for why he did the things that he did when he got older. His childhood when he was younger, he lived in an area where he was exposed to radiation. He had a dresser fall on his head when he was 2 years old, got hit by a swing, had epilepsy for the rest of his life, and then he was abused by his parents and had drug abuse from his siblings, like, before he was even a teenager. So, of course, Ramirez was a murderer, and he is to blame for what he did, but his childhood could also be responsible for that as well. So, the question is, was Ramirez born a serial killer, or was he formed into one, like the monster? The creature only wanted to be loved, and he never was shown that once. So when you've been warned of the consequences and you still do something, when you abandon your child and don't care for what you made, and then you only show hate to your creation, you lead yourself to your downfall. You're the one to blame, and you're the villain.